Silence to Stardom. The Miraculous Journey of Anastasia. In a small town in Russia, a little girl was born with a challenge that most would call impossible to overcome. Her name was Anastasia Radzinskaya. The doctors looked at her tiny frame and told her parents words no mother or father ever wants to hear. She may never be able to speak. She was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a condition that affects muscle control and movement. To many, this would have sounded like the end of hope, but to her parents, it became the beginning of faith. They refused to see her through the lens of limitation. They spoke words of life over her, prayed over her, and believed that where human strength ends, God's power begins. Each day, they celebrated small victories, a smile, a laugh, a sound, and slowly, those moments of hope began to turn into miracles. Her father started recording her tiny steps of progress, simple moments of play and joy, not for fame, but for gratitude. He wanted to share her journey with friends and family, to show them how far she had come. But what they didn't know was that the world was about to witness something extraordinary. When her parents uploaded those videos to YouTube, they expected a few views, maybe encouragement from close friends. Instead, millions began to watch. People saw more than a little girl playing. They saw innocence, joy, and a child whose laughter carried a message of hope stronger than any sermon. Miracles are real. Nastya's videos became a global language of happiness. Without long words or perfect speech, she spoke directly to the hearts of children everywhere. Her smiles needed no translation. Her joy became universal. Soon this little girl, who doctors said might never speak, became one of the highest paid YouTubers in the world. Her channel, like Anastasia, reached billions of views. But beyond the fame and the fortune, something deeper was happening. Her story became a testimony of divine purpose, a reminder that God can take what was meant to break you and use it to bless you. Anastasia didn't just make videos, she healed hearts. Her journey reminded millions that no matter where you start, faith can rewrite your destiny. Today, she stands as a symbol of what happens when love never gives up, when parents choose faith over fear, and when a child decides to shine her light even in the face of darkness. So, remember this: no obstacle is too big for the one who believes, no diagnosis can silence the purpose God has written over your life, and no storm can drown the song that faith teaches your heart to sing. Like Nastya's story isn't just about success, it's about transformation. It's about how God turns pain into power, trials into triumph, and a whisper of hope into a worldwide miracle. Keep believing, stay grateful, and never stop shining your light, because somewhere out there, your story is the miracle someone is waiting to see. Faith turns limitations into miracles. There are moments in life when the world tells you it can't be done, when people around you start counting your limits instead of your possibilities. That's exactly what happened to a little girl named Anastasia Radzinskaya, known today as like Nest. When she was born, the doctors said she might never speak. They saw the diagnosis, cerebral palsy, but they couldn't see her destiny. Yet her parents refused to accept that verdict. They didn't allow fear to write their daughter's future. Instead, they chose faith, the kind of faith that doesn't ignore the problem, but looks beyond it. They believed that the same God who gave her life could also give her voice, movement, and purpose. And that's where the miracle began. Each day, they celebrated progress others would have overlooked: a tiny sound, a small smile, a single step. What seemed like weakness became a symbol of hope. Faith doesn't demand instant change, it requires daily trust. Anastasia's parents understood that, and their patience became the foundation for her breakthrough. One simple act, recording her moments of joy and sharing them with the world, turned into a divine setup. What was meant to be a way of tracking her growth became a global platform of love. Millions of people began to see what faith can do when it refuses to give up. Nastya's story teaches us that faith is not blind, it's visionary. It sees what others can't. While the world saw limitation, faith saw destiny. While others saw a diagnosis, faith saw a divine purpose. When God is part of your story, your weakness becomes a witness. Anastasia didn't just overcome her condition, she became a message to millions that miracles still happen. Her laughter now echoes across nations, proving that a child who was once told she might never speak has become a voice of joy for the entire world. Faith doesn't always remove the mountain instantly, but it gives you the strength to climb it. It transforms fear into fuel and pain into purpose. It doesn't always make life easy, but it makes the impossible achievable. So when life tells you that you can't, remember Anastasia's story. Remember that the God who brought her from silence to stardom can bring you from brokenness to blessing. The same faith that turned her limitation into a miracle can do the same for you in your career, your health, your dreams, and your purpose. Because faith isn't just believing in God, it's believing that God can use even your limits for His glory. So don't be discouraged by what you lack. Don't let anyone's opinion define your destiny. If you hold on to faith, keep your heart pure and trust the process, the same God who turned Nastya's pain into power will turn your story into a testimony. When faith leads the way, miracles follow. Always purpose shines brighter through pain. Every great story begins with struggle. Behind every shining light, there was once darkness. And behind every strong soul, there was once pain. The story of Anastasia like Anastasia Radzinskaya reminds us that pain is not the end, it's often the beginning of purpose. When Anastasia was born, her parents faced the unbearable. Doctors said she might never speak or live a normal life. In that moment, pain tried to define her destiny. But pain is never the final word, it's just the testing ground for greatness. Her parents refused to see her as broken, they saw her as becoming. Through tears, prayers and endless nights of faith, they turned pain into possibility. Pain has a strange power. It either breaks you or builds you, and with faith, it always builds. For Anastasia, her weakness became her weapon. What the world saw as a limitation became the very reason she inspired millions. Her family's love and her unshakable spirit turned what was once a medical challenge into a global message of hope. It began with small, ordinary moments, videos of a little girl smiling, playing, learning, laughing. Those simple moments carried extraordinary meaning. They spoke to people's hearts. They reminded the world that even in pain, joy can live. Even in struggle, light can shine. And even in weakness, purpose can grow stronger. The truth is, pain reveals purpose. Without it, we would never discover how much we can endure or how much light we can bring to others. Anastasia's journey shows that God doesn't waste pain, He transforms it. What looks like suffering today may become the very reason someone else doesn't give up tomorrow. Through her laughter, she became a healer. Through her story, she became an inspiration. Through her resilience, she became a reminder that even when life says no, faith whispers, try again. When we look at Nastya's success today, one of the highest paid and most loved YouTubers in the world, we see more than fame, we see redemption, we see the hand of God turning sorrow into song, struggle into strength, and silence into a global voice of joy. Pain may visit your life, but it doesn't have to stay. It may delay you, but it cannot define you. If you keep walking in faith, that same pain will polish your purpose until it shines brighter than ever before. So when you go through hard seasons, remember this: God isn't punishing you, He's preparing you. Your pain is not a prison, it's a platform. Like Nastya, your story might be the miracle that gives someone else the courage to believe again. The fire that was meant to destroy you can become the light that guides others home. Because purpose always shines brighter through pain, and when God writes your story, even your tears can become your testimony.